Pie is one of my all-time favorite desserts. If you'd like to see how I make these delightful little treats, please keep watching. I have a little bit of a different setup today because I'm using my other counter where I usually work because I'm making a roast and my slow cooker's on it, so I thought I would just move over here. This is an old cabinet. I think it's called a Hoosier cabinet, and it was my great-grandma's, and I love it. I love that I get to use it and have it in my home because I was very close to her. And she was one of my most favorite people ever to walk this earth, and I miss her a lot. So I'm very blessed that my grandma, which is her daughter, my Mimi, I don't call her grandma, I call her my Mimi, she let me sort of have this. I don't really say that it's mine because it's technically hers, but she's letting me have it in my home for now. And I think that my great-grandma used to make biscuits on this like every single day, so I've used it a lot for my cakes, and today I'm going to make hand pies on it. So the first thing we're going to do is make the crust that goes with these hand pies. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see everything here. I've got my food processor here, so I'm hoping that everything is okay and well lit. I have a window right here, so hopefully there's enough lighting coming from that. Okay, so first we're going to start out with 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to just put this into my food processor. And I do not like this food processor. My friend Cricket has one just like this, and I don't think she likes hers either because it is very noisy. It will hurt your ears. So I take paper towel and I shove it in my ears because, well, I don't shove it like to hurt myself, but I put it in my ears because this thing is seriously so loud that it really hurts my ears. Into your food processor, you're going to add the 3 cups of flour, and then here I have a half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to be using salted butter. Instead of putting a whole teaspoon of salt in there, I'm going to use just a half a teaspoon, so I'm going to sprinkle that in there. And then I have a tablespoon of sugar. I don't like my pie crust to be super sweet. I kind of like it a bit on the savory side because, you know, the fruit or whatever you put in it is sweet enough, in my opinion, but you can go up to 2 tablespoons of sugar if you would want to do that. And now what I'm going to do is just pulse this until everything is all mixed together. After your flour and everything has been mixed together, you're going to add in a 1.5 sticks of cold butter. I have cut this butter into just small little pieces, and then I put it back in the freezer just so that it would set up and be really cold. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in. And I also have 1/3 cup of vegetable shortening. This is cold. I put it in here and then I stuck it up in the freezer as well, so it would be nice and cold. Now I'm going to pulse this until you get like the butter is like the size of peas. Another reason I do not like this is because it spits flour everywhere. It's everywhere. So yeah, I get to clean up that mess now. Now what I'm going to do is add 8 to 10 tablespoons of ice water. I'm just going to add it through the feed hole at the top, and I'll add a little bit at a time until it starts forming a ball, and then you know that your dough is done. You don't want to add too much water, and you don't want to add not enough water. So I'm going to start out with 3 tablespoons, pulse it in, then maybe do 3 more and pulse it in and see how it goes. Okay, so my dough has kind of come to a bit of a ball shape, so I'm going to just dump it out here on my plastic wrap. Alright, so I've flattened my dough out a little bit, wrapped it in plastic wrap. I'm going to refrigerate this for a half an hour and let it get nice and cold again, and then we'll roll it out and I will show you what to do next. I have 2 pints of strawberries because I'm actually going to double this recipe. I did not show you how to double the crust, just so you know. That was for one recipe, not doubled. So I have 2 pints of strawberries that I've washed. I've cut off all the leaf piece part thingies, and I've put them in a bowl. I've cut them into, you know, small little pieces. To the strawberries, I'm going to add 8 tablespoons. I don't know what that measures out to in cups or whatever, of sugar, of granulated sugar. I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top. To this, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. And remember, I have doubled this part, so you'll have to add a little bit less. And now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I'm just going to mix this up and then let it sit for a little bit. I'm going to just lightly flour my surface. Just sort of mix it around a little bit. And then I'm going to just lay out my dough or my crust. And I'm going to sprinkle it as well with some flour. Now I'm just going to roll out the dough. It does not need to be in a perfect circle for this. Just get it out the best way that you can. So I have a bowl and I'm going to just press it down onto the dough. You want something that's, you know, a pretty big circle. If you have a big enough cookie cutter, go ahead and use that. And it didn't cut quite through, so I'm just going to take my knife and just sort of go around that edge. And I'm just going to lift this up with a spatula. I sort of bent my side under, but that's okay. I mean, it's not a hard thing to fix. It doesn't have to be perfect because these are just hand pies. They're not, I mean, they're not a perfect little pie. I'm going to lay it on a baking sheet that I have lined with parchment paper. And I'm going to go ahead and make a couple more. You want to roll out your dough, keep rolling it out, and make as many of these as you can get, as many circles as you can get. Of course, I'm not done, as you can see, until your dough is, you know, you can't get any more out of it. So what I'm going to do is just spoon some of these strawberries right here into the middle. You can kind of push them off, you know, to the side a little bit. And then I'm just going to fold this over and press it down. And then after you fold it over, you're just going to take your fork and just go in and seal those 2 pieces together. And then I'm going to take my knife and just make a couple of little slits right in the top so that they will vent. And then I will show you how to do one more. Alright, put your strawberries down. Remember not to get too close to the edge. And then we're going to take the dough. I don't think you guys can see this. I don't have a very good angle. And then just sort of pinch it around the edge. And then go in and take your fork and press the pie crust together. I still have a few hand pies that I'm going to make, but what I have here I wanted to show you what you do when you're getting ready to bake them. What I have here is an egg and a little bit of water, and I've whisked it together. And then I'm just going to brush the tops of these with it. And this will just add a real pretty sheen to them. We're going to bake these at 375 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. And what I'm going to do is cover the pan with some foil just so that they don't get too brown. And then towards the end of their cooking, when I see that they're kind of bubbling, I'm going to take the foil off and then let them get a nice golden brown color.